Alright, I think it's finally time to demo the GLAND IDE. GLAND, of course, named in honor of such great LucasArts tools such as phlegm, cyst, mucus, smegma, sputum, and so on. And Brad Taylor here suggested that GLAND could maybe stand, as an acronym, could stand for Graphics, Layout, and Novel Design Tool. So I kind of like the idea, but it's a lot more than that. It's really a little ID. Whoops, wrong window. um, so first of all, I'm gonna show a bit of my own little. Um, it's not really my current project, my current working project. It's just like a little Hello Gland I set up while I was working on this to implement all the tools I need. In the past, I've been working mostly in the command line and with Visual Studio Code, which turns out is not so efficient um, when it comes to broader design and actually wanting to do things professionally. In any case, we've got the room editor here, so we can see all the rooms here. It's currently only two. We set the initial room here. That's the room the game will start in. Then we have like a title that we can change. That's purely really for your own um, purely for your own organization. Like you can name it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Then there's custom defines. Those are interesting. We'll go into more detail later on in these. And then we can set variables. We can set them globally, which means they will be available from other code as a. Um, I don't want to go too much into detail here because this is probably gonna end up being a deep dive into the actual code, which we could probably save for later. So what we've got here is our color cycling. So we can basically we pick the first color, then we pick the last color in the color cycling. Then we have the forward and the backward, which we can actually do here. See, now it's going backwards, now forward. So that's a little feature we have. Then we have the ability here to go into object properties. This is currently still using the old editor. We have a new one already. But here you basically set the verbs. Um, and the verbs are, well, they're all set for this one. But you set the verbs here. Those are the global verbs that your game can use. And then you can set a handler for every one of them. So if I performed a look at on this dildo, you'd get an ego say test. So the character would say test. Um, then this is obviously just for testing purposes here. These are the walk boxes. Obviously, in a title screen, we don't need them. But I implement pretty much whatever we need, really. You have scale slots. We'll go into detail about these later on as well when we actually do some tutorial videos, I guess. This is just a broad overview for now. But that's pretty much the room editor. Then we also have like a custom editor. So if you go in here, you can you have the limbs here. So what I usually do, because because I'm lazy, partially because so far it hasn't really mattered, but you can have 16 limbs in total. What I usually do is I just have a body limb and have everything inside of it. But of course, like the original LucasArts games, they had like limbs for head, limbs for arms, and for legs, and so you could control and swap them independently. So far, I haven't really found a use for it. I probably will in the development during the development of Tomage. Um, and then you can sort of create animation blocks by picking the limbs, by picking. So what we do here is we pick a glob. So if we go into pick bitmaps, we have the option of picking multiple bitmaps. We can also import a sprite sheet, which is basically just a PNG file, a regular sprite sheet. The engine doesn't use sprite sheets internally, so it will create single frames for that. But then what we can do here, we can go in here and we can basically choose the limbs that we have set and make them part of the animation. And we can do that for every. We haven't actually set different ones. Okay, those are the same walk south. Again, just a demo project. So yeah, this is from like my little game jam game that I had a. I had multiple game jam games with that character. It's kind of a mascot now. It's kind of I call her Bun Brush. She's kind of my Guybrush. And then we have the same for Tomage. And actually in here we have different animations. So this is actually for a close-up, like in a Monkey Island 2. The close-up for... it's fully animated. I don't remember if the Monkey Island 2 one was fully animated. But you have this close-up of like the fisherman, that sequence. And that's basically the same thing here. And then we have the regular animation if we switch to the south loop. Then we have this animation. It's very demo. It's not very complete. I don't quite like it. Unfortunately I'm not an animator, and my friend in Iran is not available. Hopefully the war will now end soon, but otherwise I have some animator friends elsewhere that can help me. But this is basically the basic animation for now. And again, the arms, I don't like the way he's dangling them in front, but that's what it is for now. Very demo-like. In any case, then we have a dialogue editor. So what we can do here is we can have... we usually set... So first of all, we set an opening. So... on first, this is what our character says, ego. Ego is our character, our player character. And then this is what the character would respond. And down here, if we had, in this demo project, if we had like a talking animation set, then the talking animations would show up down here. Just like just to make it prettier, really. Doesn't really have a use case, but it looks nice. And then we have like conditions we can set here. So we can set like a condition no as well. Let's just use the one that is actually given. Okay, then we have Nose Carol. And what we can do here is we can set the condition, and it will automatically insert both the positive and the negative version. So doesn't know Carol. So if we set the condition here for doesn't know Carol, then this would mean that this option, I'm selling these fine leather jackets, only shows up when the person doesn't know Carol. And then we can also set this as the goodbye exit option, which means it just will automatically quit the conversation, of course. And then we can also have like some side effects. Again, this is like the old code. There's no suggestions yet. Yeah, that's pretty much that. And the last one, we can just like delete the dialogue and set some colors. Not important yet, really. So then we have the inventory items editor. A lot of people have laughed that I'm showing this off of the dildo. Again, this game that I'm working on is very Leisure Suit Larry. It's saucy. It's not gonna be totally under the belt. It's a cartoon game. It won't be overly sexual, but I would not suggest anybody under the age of 16 playing it. But here we have our new editor, actually, that I've been working on tonight. So what this does is I will show off almost right away. But in here we can type, and we have like suggestions, and then it even will return. Yeah, we'll also add hints here, so people know what Walk Actor 2 does, if it's not too obvious. Then we also have, of course, the search. We can do a search here. The usual. So that's our little editor. Somebody asked about it. And basically what this does is, this is verb handlers. So every object has a verb handler, just like the room objects. So if I click on look at, if I use look at on this inventory object dildo, it will say, "Can't believe this came out on an arcade machine." Um, yeah. So if we save this here and we look inside of an open editor, then it's right here in this code. It's being generated automatically. Right. And then we have a font editor. This one is rather unfinished yet. Unfortunately, I'm still struggling with the math here. It's best to just like, okay, also let's just edit this again. Right, I had to make a quick cut in the video because the file actually got lost for some reason. Let me go back in here. There it is. Right. So that works. So basically here, again, it's not ideal. It's not showing the proper size. This would probably be even larger. But this is basically supposed to emulate what it looks in game. And this creates like from the TDF you generate the character. So that would actually create the character file. And let's move on to the next one. So here we have the ability, first of all, we have like a library of all of our voice files. And then we have the ability to add a new voice file. Let's just use something from the cutting floor here that we still haven't really, it's kind of a rough output. Sorry for that, but yeah. So this is our main voice actor actually.
You literally pay taxes to get the meme as government.
Yeah. But basically this is the file, the voice files that would end up in the monster sound file or in a similar sound file. And it even returns, for now it returns the scum-c declaration. You just have to copy and paste that into your code wherever you need it. Later on I will probably make it easier for people. The music editor is not implemented yet, but basically I'll support both MIDI and CD audio. So you'll be able to just upload MIDIs in here, and I'll have like a bunch of iMuse controls. And then for CD audio, it's basically you just import an MP3, an Ogg Vorbis, an Ogg Opus, or a FLAC or a WAV file, and we'll just automatically transform it into the correct formats. Actually, it depends on the platform. For the I don't want to say anything wrong now. Been a while. The Dreamcast uses MP3, and the N64 version uses Ogg Vorbis. So, or actually Ogg Opus in my latest virtual machine build. So you kind of need all of these formats, and there will be like an if dev in the code that's automatically added, so you don't have to deal with it. It's just converting it to all the formats, and then when it actually is time to bundle the things, it will just do it automatically. We haven't implemented all that code yet for the different platforms. All of that still only exists on the command line, but I'll have that done before the end of the beta version. And then we have finally the verb GUI. Basically, you pick a background image, and this one is actually using the wrong colors here. I need to change that back. I experimented a bit with the coloring. The original has way better colors. You'll see it in the demo. It's dark purple, and it's way more beautiful than this. In any case, we set like a verb element. There's still some issues here with the way this. Yeah. And basically, I've ensured that you can't go out of bounds, because that would be bad for the code. if the code generator created something that was out of bounds, it would just crash the entire. It wouldn't even crash the compiler. It would actually crash the virtual machine. This is running in, so ScumVM would crash and people wouldn't know what it's about. So I ensured this couldn't happen by having it bound to this area here, and it actually goes back to the maximum area. So we'll inside the code. If you have it underneath, it will actually go up to this area here. But in any case, you basically add like a verb field. Let's see. We don't have a walk to in this demo. Okay, so and then you can have like a short key on PC. In these old games, you actually had the option of having keyboard controls. So you have like a short key, and so if you press L, which is probably nice for speedrunners as well. So if you press L, it will just automatically go and do a look at. And then you can set a bunch of colors here, down here. They're all dependent on the room palette. So you kind of have to do a bit of palette management. But that's basically it for this little demo here. Now what a lot of people are probably waiting for is the ability to import an existing Scum game. So first of all, what you got to do here, pick a folder to create the file in. It's empty. It's good. And then you have to pick the index file. And I have a horrible mess of all the different things. There it is. And if it's a different sound file, if it wasn't monster sound, you could change like the speech file here. You could manually pick the speech file. But since it's Day of the Tentacle, we know it's monster sound. Then it takes a little while. And then we have all the rooms imported. All the beautiful little rooms from Day of the Tentacle. And you can check them out. You can check out the code here. Again, I need to change that to the new... so the new one, this is actually just a multi-line ImGui editor field, text field. The new one is using ZEP, Z-E-P, which is quite lovely, quite ingenious. Let me see. Was there a room that had... I don't remember the... If I remembered, I could search. This is interesting too. So basically, the newspaper section, the cutscenes, those were all just the same newspaper, and you could switch out the state here. So that's what was done there. That was done programmatically. I'm just looking for like the... I'm just really looking for... What's that room even? Oh yeah, it was used. I'm actually looking for a room with color cycling. There's not a lot of color cycling in the game. I mean, we have seen it working in my game, but I just wanted to show it off here. So this is the first room. And this is actually... This is strange because it should be color cycling as well, but in the block it's different from other color cycling. I know it's color cycling because in the 3DO version I had a problem with that particular scene. But yeah, where is it? It was some room. Yeah, I don't remember really. 26, 28 maybe. Let's try 28. Nope. Whatever. There is a room with color cycling. I really don't remember the room, unfortunately. But this is like one thing, and yeah. And then again, the actors. I currently don't have the actors. I added these manually. But currently, there's there's a little bug. It's actually putting in the actors from my last session. I needed to clean that out. because I didn't close the project, so now I have like this mixture of both. Yeah, that's a little bug I need to clean out. I have the verbs UI and everything, even though I imported. Yeah. Um, what is already working here is the voices. So I pretty much stare and eat.
He says that Purple Tentacles mutated into an insane genius.
Yep.
And Dr. Fred's going to kill them both. I thought I was free of Dr. Fred and those crazy Edisons forever. But now I know that I must go back to the mansion. You're brilliant. What a novel design. Come to Baltimore at once.
Yeah, so these are all like little voice clips, and they all inside the code, they would all be linked in. But yeah, that's basically it so far. What I have, there's a lot of stuff still coming, and this will be the basis for my own game development in the future. I just really had to think about how I can add new team members willing to work on my game. And I realized, holy heck, the way I've been doing game development for all my game jams is quite foreign to a lot of people. So it will be quite hard for them to get used to it. And I realized I could be more efficient as well if I had a proper IDE. So this is that, and it's very much a beta version. I hope to release it soon. I'll probably shadow drop it when that happens, but yeah, that's it for tonight. Oh wait, there's actually one more thing that I forgot to show off. So in addition to ScumVM, you can also start ScumVM from here, of course. But in addition to ScumVM, we have our own little virtual machine. It's not perfect yet. It's far from finished, but it's the same virtual machine that I'm porting to all these different systems. It's the same virtual machine that I'm using for Secret of Monkey Island on PlayStation 1, that I've been using for the 3DO port of Day of the Tentacle that I've been demoing. It's pretty much the same port I'm going to do for Sega Saturn, the same virtual machine. Everything that doesn't have ScumVM will actually use that particular version of a virtual machine. So, and it will be quite fun. And it's my goal is to eventually also port this to Amiga. So you will be able to test this in the Amiga version of the IDE. And the Amiga version of the IDE will have like an AGA option, of course. But then there will also be an ECS version that I'm specifically working on for the Amiga 1000 and the Amiga 500, the lowest end Amiga, with just 512 kilobytes of chip memory, and I'm targeting 8 megabytes of fast RAM. I think that's appropriate. That's what I have. I have Parcero 2. God bless that person who gave it to me. This guy's a genius. Yeah, I love my Amiga 1000. I have fond memories of picking it up with my mom back when she was still alive, and I actually never told her how much I paid. She had to leave the room when I paid the guy. She thought it was just like $100, but it was 1,000. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for now. There's no one more thing now.